Jai Hind to all. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss screen-based control, which is coming under Unit 5 of HCI. Okay, so let's discuss what are the screen-based control. What are the control we interact with the screen, that is known as the screen-based control. Okay, sometimes screen-based control are also called as the widgets. Okay, so let's see screen-based controls, simply called controls, and sometimes it is also called as a widget. So by definitions, they are graphics object. We deals with the graphic object in the screen. That's why it is known as the screen based control, like buttons. Okay. So in the coming slides, we discuss what are basically particular screen controls. Okay, so screen controls basically are the graphic object that represent the properties of operations of others object. Okay, so when we click this graphics object, if we perform some action, it will perform some task, that is known as the screen based controls, we said. Okay, so operable controls which operate something, that is known as the operable controls. Okay, so operable controls are those that permit the entry. You can enter something, you can select something, you can change something, or edit something of a particular value. Okay, and cause a commands to be performed. So operable means from which we operate. Okay, so in which form we operate? We permit entry, we permit selections, we permit editing of a particular value. That's why it is known as the operable control. Okay, so from which we do the operable control? From the buttons. Okay, are very good examples of the operable control. When we click on the button, it will perform some task. Okay, text entry, and or we can allow text entry and we can allow read only. We can allow selections, combinations, entry and selections. Okay, and there are some specialized controls. So let's discuss one by one. So what is the button? So button is a square or rectangular box like this shaped control with a label inside, the yes, the no and the cancel. These are the labels of these buttons or these control that indicate action to be accomplished. Okay, so yes means it will move the save the changes, no means don't save the changes, cancels means this operation will be cancelled, this command will be cancelled from here. Okay, so the label may consist of text. Here the label is in the form of the text, in the form of the graphics. When you see the menu bar, okay, the cut, the printer, there is no label, written label. Okay, no alphabetical label. The printer, the small printer button indicate this is for the print. Okay, so that is known as the graphics, or sometimes both graphics as well as the text. Okay, so let's discuss the command button. The buttons, this is the button, and buttons contain two types, again the command button and the toolbar. Okay, so let's discuss what are the command button here. Okay, so command button is used to provide the fast access here. Okay, just click, the command will be performed. Or to frequently used or critical commands for Windows with the menu bar. Okay, like with the help of the functions key. Okay, shift plus F5, shift plus F4, shift plus F1 help. Okay, so these are the command button. With the combination you will just do the fast access of these with the help of the command buttons. Okay, so used to provide access to all necessary commands for window without a menu bar. Here you don't need to select the menu, you just click on the control F5 for refresh. Okay, just refresh. Okay, don't need to go for the menu and then we select the refresh button. So whenever you need the fast access of any command, that will you can use a direct access, the shortcuts key here for Windows. Okay, without a menu bar. And you can use here single word labels whenever possible. If not possible, you can use 3 words 2 or 3 words for clarity if necessary. Okay, and you can use mixed case letter. The first letter will be capital letter and the other letter will be of the small letter. So labels here, the safe, the S will be capital and other letter will be lowercase letter. Okay, so you can use mixed case letter and do not numbers label. If you write the button and you write number 1, number 2 and number 3, this number don't have any significance. With the help of these number you find nothing. Okay, so do not, so labels always in the alphanumeric order. Okay, alphanumerics, or you can say that the alphabeticals, and center the label within the button borders. If there is a button here, the label should be in the center, not left line, not right line. Okay, provide consistency in button labeling across all screens. Suppose you use the labels, one label where the first letter is the capital and other are small, then all label you use should be like this. The first letter will be capital and others are the small. So there should be a consistency in labeling the button. On restrict the number of buttons and a window to 6 or fewer. Okay, so if visitors a dialog box came, so you can use 6 buttons at a time in one dialog. Okay, more will be messy, and provide as large as button as feasible and maintain consistent button height and the widths. The label should be so small so that the width and height will be maintained throughout the screen. Okay, and the next continue button existing a dialog. Okay, when the dialog box come, button also exists in the dialog box and usually closing the window. Okay, so whenever you show the closing the window here, should be positioned horizontally and centered across the lower part of the window. Sometimes, okay. For a button, invoke a dialog or expand the dialog, position it centered and align vertically along the right side of the window. Okay, suppose here is some label and 3 ellipses are there. So when you click, the other dialog box with more option will appear on this way. Okay, do not provide alignment with other screen controls. Maintain alignment and spacing only within the button themselves. You can use within the button alignment, not the outer alignment, and position the button within window before locate the other windows control. Okay, so these are the examples here. You can see the consistency, the configure, in configure the C is capital and in network N is capital and others are small. Okay, here the two combination of two words are used. That means here the first A is capital and the P is capital. Here O is capital and C is capital. And in this button you can see the alignments are there. Center aligns all the buttons. Okay, so these are the existing button from which you can select the OK and you can cancel the dialog box. Okay, and these are the invoking feature for expanding dialog box. So these ellipses, the 3 dot indicate when you click the other dialog box will appear here. Okay, and similar the network and similar the add printer. A printer, a one dialog box appear which will select your printer. Okay, so these are the invoking features for expanding dialog. So how you can label? You can label with 3 dots or you can label this triangular arrow. Okay, so in coming slides we discussed the in detail. So if a button has a contingent relationship to other control, position it adjacent to the related control. Here the select all. Okay, select all, the adjacent, the groceries. If you want all these, so you can just click checkbox, all checkboxes, and the selection will be here counted 0, 1, 2, 3 up to, if you select 3 it will be 3, and if you select 5 it will be 5 here. That means, so here the select all contain adjacent these grocery dialog box, which will select the user can select the grocery. So, button found on more than one window should be consistently positioned. Here the bread, clears, dairy foods, desserts and drink. You can see the same labels conventions are used and the same height and width, the spacing here. Okay, so that means consistency positions all the controls. Now, organizations command button. So, most frequent actions, whatever you find, you can place in top left. Okay, and keep related button grouped together. Okay, you always see that cut, copy, paste options are always together. Okay, because these three are related to each other. And what are the exceptions here? Both buttons containing excessively long label may be wider. So, you can use the small label as you can. Okay, if your purpose is not verified, not completed, then you only then you can go for the larger label. Otherwise, you can see the label should be 2, 3 or 4 or 5 letters only. Okay, because if you labels more than 5 letters or 6 letter, it will expand your buttons. Okay, so we are just using the button for control, not just the explanation of all that. Now, an affirmating action, the left or above. Okay, the affirmative means there is always possible way to move in the forward direction. So, in the left or above, you can use here the default first and the OK and cancel next to each other, because these are related. OK means move to the control active, and cancel control move to cancel the control. And the last one is the help. Okay, help always present in the last. So, these are the organizations, every organization use these command button in this way, in this manner. Okay. So, let us discuss the intent indicators. Intent indicator, that means it show is 3 dots show there must be any other dialog box when you click on that. Okay. So, no intent indicator is necessary. Okay, for every button there is no intent indicator necessary. When a button codes an action to be immediately performed, only when you will apply the intent indicator. Okay, you can see here the OK button, there is no indicator, intent indicator. Why? Because it will perform only one task, that means OK. Okay, and apply when a button leads to a cascading dialog box including the ellipses. These ellipses show the cascading dialog box, means suppose this is configure 3 ellipses. When you click on this other dialog box, and again this dialog box contain the ellipses in some places. Okay, so when you click this, there is other dialog box appear. So, this is the cascading dialog box. Okay, this ellipses show the cascading dialog box. Next is open. So, when a button lead to a menu, okay, menu contain more than one buttons. So, it will always contain the ellipses, and including a triangular pointing in the direction of menu will appear after the label. This will triangular pointing. Okay, that means there are a more than one menu. Okay, more than one control contain this menu, and this double triangular arrow, that means a button leads to expanding dialog including a double arrow. Okay, menu will be expanding. Okay, suppose there is some menu here, Okay, here you can, in the last you can see this double triangular arrow. When you click on that, it will expand like that. Okay, so it will expanding until unless this triangular arrow will be finished. Next, when a button has a contingent relationship to another control, including a single arrow pointing to that control. Okay, this arrow in this direction indicating. Okay, so upper this ellipsis means cascading menus, cascading pointing. Okay, the menu will expanding dialog box. This menu will be the contingent relationship to another control. Okay, this will be show the relationship between one menu to the other menu, and this is a clear button. This is if there is a relationship to another control, we indicate with the single forward direction menus. Okay, so command button exception and default. Default commands are always appear as a gray button. Okay, in the shade of gray. Why? Means these are not active now. Okay, gray button after expansion or when not applicable. You can see the gray button. When you click, there is nothing. Command will be performed because these are now inactive. And when a window is first displayed, provide a default action. Okay. So, whenever the first display, it will perform the default action. A default should be the most likely action, a confirmation. Okay, like OK or cancel. An application of the activity being performed, what performed activities, and a positive action such as OK, OK, OK. So, if a destructive action, confirmation means generally OK, you will move in the forward direction, and a destructive action, that means it perform such as you are doing some deletion or you are doing some cancel. Okay, this is destructive in nature and indicate the default action by displaying the buttons within a bold double border. Okay, so gray means inactive control at a time and the white means active control at a time. Okay, and the command button, keyboard equivalent and accelerator. So, what are these? The mnemonic should be the first character of the button's label, like Control S, that is for the save. Okay. So, these are the accelerator which will accelerate your task, that means which will improve, which will easily do your task without pressing the button with the help of this shortcut key. So, if duplication exists in first character, use another character in the label. Okay, Control P, Control V. Okay, Control B you can use here. Control V for paste. Okay, paste start from P, but P start for printer. So, you can use here Control V. Okay. So, designate the numerics character by underlining it and assign a keyboard accelerator to each button to facilitate keyboard selections. So, with the help of this keyboard, you can use the control, screen based control. Okay, scrolling and button activation. So, use buttons to move between multi-page forms. Note scroll bars, labels, buttons next and the previous. So, if you are using the multi-page form, note scroll bar, labels, button next and previous. You can use the next and the previous rather than using the scroll bar. Okay. So, whenever you fill the form, you can fill this first form and you can see here the two button, the next button and the previous button. Okay, when you fill all the entries, name, okay, age, then you go to the next button. Next form will appear, and this form when completed, you will play the next button, and the last you will find only the one button, that is the previous button. So, rather than using the scroll bar in one form, okay, this is the scroll bar, or move and you will fill the button, we can use the two buttons next and the previous, okay, and highlight the button in some visually distinctive manner when the point is resting on it and the button is available for selection. So, suppose there is a button, when this arrow will be placed, means control will be here pointing, it will be some time, it will be like a brighter, that means this button will be get pointing, and when you click this will be selected. Suppose there is a OK button here, okay, when this pointer will point to this button, it will look like little brighter, that means the arrow, okay, the pointer will pointing at this button, when you click this action will be performed. So, this is the highlight the button in some visually distinctive manner. We have to show this is the distinctive, we are pointing at that button. So, when the point is resting on it, the button is available for selections. Now, let us discuss the toolbar. The button is over here, the next screen based control is the toolbar. So, toolbar uses what are the structure and what are the size we discuss here. So, provide easy and fast access. We use the toolbar for fast access because many control you can find in one video, one toolbar, okay. So, generally frequently used controls are placed in this toolbar, okay. To most frequently used commands or option across multiple screens. So, provide buttons of equal size. Here you can see the size of each buttons are equal, and create a meaningful and the unique icon. Here you can see there is labels in the form of the graphics, not in the form of the alphabets, okay. So, center the image. So, every image, every icon means relate to some commands, like this is the picture of printer that will print your data, okay. This will for zoom, this will zoom out or zoom in your data, okay. This is the multiple pages, okay, 2 pages at a time, okay. So, every icon means for something action will be performed without using the alphabets labels. We just see the pictures, and with the help of these icons or graphics you use, you will relate the action, what action you want to perform, and this will be increase your access time, okay. The first toolbar is containing many commands which are frequently used, and the second one is in a single click you will do the actions, okay, and center the image within the button as we do in the button. Similar, the icons will be in the centers, okay. Icons here used in the form of the images, and the create a meaningful label, okay, like printer, that means print your data, okay. Zoom, this button that will zoom your data, okay, and provide the smaller size as the default size. You can see the icons we use compared to the buttons labeling is smaller, okay. So, it will occupy very less space and it will improve your task and okay. So, place the most frequently used actions to the left or to the top, and keep related buttons grouped together, like cut, copy, paste are always coming together, and the separate potentially destructive buttons from frequently chosen selections, and permit user to reconfigure the button organization and position main features and functions bar horizontally and access top of the window just below the menu bar. The main features and functions, okay, are bar horizontally across the top of the window just below the menu bar, and position subtask and the sub feature bar along sides of the window you can place, and permit the location of the bar to be changed by the users according to the need. Now, active items, button activations and the customization. So, make only currently available toolbar item available. Okay, which are currently available toolbar items you can available, and you can also do customizations also. Temporary not available item be described always in the gray color. Okay, grayed out, that means inactive buttons at present, and highlight the button in some visually distinctive manner when the pointer is resting on it. The similar, when this menu bar, the icon is this, when you point your pointer, when okay, that will highlight, that means when you select, the action will be performed. And call attention to the button in another visually distinctive manner when it has been activated or pressed, and permit toolbar to be turned off by the user. Allow the customizing of the toolbar. Okay, so customizations is also possible in the toolbar. So whatever the screen control you want most frequently, you just place this customized toolbar, customized controls in the toolbar for, so that you will be do your task very fast. Now, the text entry or read only controls. So, text entry always place a column. You can, whenever you find the name, you will find the column. Okay, this is a caption, and after this column, that means here you can enter your name. Okay, for single field, caption can be located in front of upper left corner of the box, and for multiple field, position the caption upper left of the box, and for single field, sorry, caption can be located in front of the upper left corner of the box, and for multiple fields, position the caption upper left of the box. Okay, so but there is a single field here. So caption, just if you want to draw the name, want to take the name, okay, the caption is located in front of the upper left corner like this. Okay, suppose this is the upper left corner, and when there is a multiple field, so position the caption upper left, and when there is a single field, position the caption in front of the upper left corner of the box. Now, for read only boxes, you just do reading, you just know you are not allowed it to edit the text. So, if the data field is long or about the same length, center the caption. Okay, captions we do the center and display the text boxes, because we are not here allow the some editings. So, these are the read only, and if the data is alphanumeric, short or quite variable in length, then you can use the left justify the caption above the displays. If the data field is numeric and variable in length, right justify the caption. Okay. So, these are some conventions we use for the text entry in a text boxes. So, to visually indicate that it is a enterable field, so present the box in a recessed manner. Okay, and present read only text boxes on the window background, and break up long text boxes through incorporation of slashes. You can use the dashes, you can use the spaces, or you can use the command delimiters like this. So, call attentions to text box data through a highlighting techniques. So, if you want to call attention to text box data, so you can use through a highlighting techniques. Suppose you want to enter some sign in, okay, so name, okay, phone numbers, basically we are using the call attention to enter the phone number. So, we just use the highlighting to attract the customer in through the sign in box and give here the details of the customer, and gray out temporary available, unavailable text box. So whenever there is a gray out, that means temporarily unavailable text boxes. Okay, so these are the text on entry. Okay, so here are some selections controls also. The radio buttons, the checkbox, the palette, the list boxes and list view control, and the drop down and the pop up list here. Okay. So in the next video we discuss these selections control. Thank you so much.